missing a piece of it, right?
That's true.
So pretty cool. Okay.
Did that discontinue again or something?
Yeah, I think when it switched screens, it like turned it off.
Ooh.
So
Okay. Well,
good to know.
Let's not leave our Instagram fans hanging.
Oh no, maybe not.
That's okay. That's okay. We're practicing consistency compounds, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm more annoyed with technology.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. See.
All right. Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, we have people.
So I think it has something to do with this setup here.
Okay.
It's not liking it. So yeah. So that was kind of the deal today.
So
what was going on?
Do people know what you're working on? I know you shared your Everesting, but have you given people the full rundown on that yet? You kind of danced around like the thing that you're doing, but have you told them exactly what you're doing? Because that's an area I think that could be.
Have I told them on here?
Yeah, you should. So because this has something to do with like where couples can source each other too. Like if one person's taking on like a marathon or a big event, how couples can actually be inside of a shared agreement around a specific topic.
And with excuse me, it may be. Sorry, I really want to do this.
Just stop messing with it.
But no, because it's only right here, and so it's gonna mess everything up. Sorry, guys.
Zero really wants to figure this out.
I do, because it doesn't matter why it's important right now, but it will matter later. And so, yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. So basically, it doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to be taking on like a big physical event or anything like that. You could maybe be building a shed in your backyard and just like a big project, a big something that's going to take a long time, that's going to require more brain space, commitment or focus time or childless time, or right?
Yeah.
Could be anything. So I signed up for 29029, which is a Everesting event, which means that I will hike the same elevation of Mount Everest within 36 hours, or you have 36 hours to do it. And yeah.
Have you ever been to Whistler? Imagine going to the top of the mountain 8 times consecutively.
Yeah. Some people are wild and they're doing like a smaller mountain, but they have to do it like 13 times or 17 times. I just like could not. So
we haven't even really gotten to the heat of it yet. But what we'll have to get into agreement around is how that looks like inside of couple. Like, and I think that's an important. And I think so many people we walk around when it comes to like. It's funny because it's so ordinary. We fall into it ourselves, but we kind of look at somebody else to hold their end of the bargain like it's a one-sided contract, like it's a one-sided agreement or one-sided promise to each other.
Well, it's not a promise anymore.
Exactly. And I think that is something that we'll have to explore that, because we haven't because you're just now, I can see already through your actions, you're kind of just now like kind of taking it on as well.
Yeah. So my like official training just started, and like even this morning, like it required me. Normally I'd be able to get it done Tuesday nights, but we have a commitment Tuesday night. So I had to like get up and do it early and then be done before the day, the routine, the morning routine or whatever.
And that's a space for us to even like, I think, create and dance around a bit more too. Because it's like you start to kind of try new patterns and it may not be a promise yet, but then it's like you start to kind of find the rhythm and then you create something new from that. Could be if you start a new job. And I think a lot of the things, we kind of fall into it actually. A lot of how we've done life, it takes attention. It takes a lot of space to do it. Like we lead people through workshops to like see these things, but even us, like we're not immune to like falling into traps of like
everybody's relationship is ordinary.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity for your relationship to be extraordinary, but it still includes the ordinary, annoying stuff. Like Zach wants to go to coffee with me today, and I was like, no, your energy is like, and so it still includes that. Like you can't, it's not going away. And the second you release that going away, like having ordinary moments, like, because there will be some time in my training where I'm like, Zach, I have to go for a really long hike today. And somewhere there's going to be a missed communication and it's going to be like, right? Like it's going to be like very ordinary. So it was kind of like a big family project to take this on, or to have the space for me to actually even do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And the kids are enrolled. Like Carnegie is, he likes to run. He does like cross country stuff. He is like ready to like go on some runs with me and stuff. And
well, the quality of the relationship that you're looking for is going to be found in the promises that you're making, fulfilling, you're keeping and fulfilling and taking action on. A good way to think about it in terms of the anatomy of it, though, too, not to go through the whole process, but start with like a bigger promise. Like there is a bigger commitment that I think we have around this event. However, there's and those are like the big boulders in the jar, right? But then it's the smaller pebbles and the pieces of sand. It's like the details definitely matter in terms of what the qualities will arise, because I think the bigger commitment obviously is you doing Everesting and doing the event, but typically when you look at the upsets that happen along the way, is because there is usually gap fills. There's gaps in the details of the promise. So like, do you promise us to whatever support looks like, to advocate and be willing to like make sacrifices so I can do this event? I'm like, yes. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course, Monday through Friday, sacrifice, or yeah, sacrifices every weekend. So my mind's thinking like Saturday and Sunday, but you're thinking like, no, it's kind of like any time that I need to go work out whenever I need to do it. And like, oh, okay, well, what does that look like for you?
Well, it's not whenever I need to do it. It's like,
well, I made that part up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like today where it's like, oh, like tonight is occupied, so that's like not going to work. Tomorrow night, same thing. You're going to your little farmer's market on Thursday, same thing. So it's like things got to move and be adjusted as other things come up.
Yeah, and we were at the stage where we have our kids where we can't move freely without impact around the children and watching them. So we have to, and we're kind of thinking about this out loud, actually. There's a lot of opportunity to sidebar. That'd be actually a fun exercise for the people. We should like go through we should create a promise on air that we're like manufacturing. Not maybe today, but that'd be kind of a fun exercise. Yeah.
Well, they should come to the free webinar.
Real time, yeah.
You should come to the webinar because you're going to learn how to do that.
May 25th. Is like, okay, so like if you ever are leaving the house and it impacts me being trapped without the car, then you have to communicate it. Like you can create these like micro rules around the week. But we don't really a lot of couples, we don't really live our life like that. We live like, well, you should have known. Like, how could you not know that? And that's where a lot of mischief happens.
A lot of mischief.
I shouldn't have to tell you.
Yeah, a lot of mischief happens in the not the expectation, but living. We don't realize it, but we walk around as like living shoulds all the time. Yeah. And you just don't realize it, but you come from that place. Like if you have a reaction to something versus like a response to something, you're probably living in a should place. Like this morning we all woke up and our dishwasher didn't turn on and our microwave wasn't working. Really a great morning. I was like, okay, well, there's probably something in the box. We're going to have to call our contractor because our kitchen's like fairly new. And we're going to, I'm just like, okay, like more like a response place. Zach, though, has been feeling a little bit flooded. And so he was like coming from like a reaction place. And it was like, well, it happens. It's like you can't, but it's like a should place. It's like, but my microwave should be working. My dishwasher should be working. And this is just a microwave and a dishwasher. And they're working now, which is great. But we do that in relationship too.
Yeah.
Right? Like all the time. And it's so like annoying. And then what's funny is people are like, well, I had this expectation and then I didn't share it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, great. But even a shared expectation does not mean that that's going to be fulfilled on. That is not a promise. So it's two very, very, very different things. And so which leads us to what we're doing on May 25th, which is a free webinar around promises and commitments. And we're inviting like everybody. If you have been married a long time and you want to renew vows, maybe not necessarily at like a vow renewal ceremony or anything like that, but just with each other. It doesn't have to be like an event. I mean, you can make one if you want, just be sure to invite us. But if you want it to be just like a, intimate, just recommitment. And then for people who are engaged, obviously, or newlyweds who've just been married, because we're not talking about those poetic vows. We're talking about real, meaningful life giving to your marriage vows. And sometimes those nitty gritty details are in those and disappear some of the shoulds and stuff, because more things in your relationship become co-owned versus coming from a place of it should be this way, it should be that way, you should be doing this, you should be doing that.
Correct. Yeah. It's dangerous when you're dealing with the emotions of humanity, of if they like these like fantasy worlds, like if is something that hasn't happened. It's like not based off of any sort of time frame. It's just it's a future concept at best. So when you say, well, if they loved me, then they should, and should is something that, again, it's a concept that didn't actually occur.
It's a you concept.
Right? They should already know. I shouldn't have to tell them because they should know if they loved me. And it's you're dancing in a realm that is not it's not, there's no reality in that space. It's very ordinary, but it's worthwhile to notice when there's a lot of upsets, but we fall into a pattern of thinking that how do I put, we fall into a pattern to believing that the lie that it's actually true. And it's
you fall into the lie that the should be true. Yeah. Like that's actually what you are.
Is that Walter? Doing. Hey, Walter.
Yeah.
So it's really, really worthwhile noticing. Anything else you would share on that?
About that? No, but it's May 25th. It's just going to be a free webinar on, and really, like if you're in any relationship and you've never actually really sat down, and we're not talking values. So vows are not the same as values. We're talking about your relationship, solid foundation, and maybe even getting clear on things you feel maybe have not even come up, and simply knowing the clarity of them and your commitment to each other is,
Well, promises and commitments are quite literally the foundation of your relationship.
And
they are the foundation of your relationship.
And you, when they're fulfilled on, it creates confidence. So why not take an opportunity to create some confidence in your relationship, knowing in 5 years you could revisit it? Like, what if those promises are actually fulfilled on? And then you want to like create more. Like, so it's a very evergreen thing.
By the way, promises are about making something happen that otherwise wouldn't happen anyway. You don't need to make promises on, waking up in the morning. You don't need to make promises on things that are kind of automatic in terms of, like, I guess waking up, walking, staying, breathing, I suppose. But just notice how much you let you give up to chance and luck, and then act like it should happen by default anyway,
or hope.
And you live in a space of hope.
Or hope. I think. Boarding. Where are you going?
What?
Boarding a plane?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they're traveling. Yeah, they're a family. Good to see you, Walter.
Okay. Safe flight. Safe travels.
Thanks for hanging out.
So the other piece with vows, I think, is it negates the need for hope. I think people go into marriage being like, oh, I hope this works out. It's like, really? You're just going to bank this on hope? Like, how about let's make this a real game? Because like hope ain't
Well,
gonna do it.
well,
Like, you can't
yeah.
just like hope it's gonna get better. No. You actually have to have like a foundation.
Well, I think
Is
what
it great to have hope in the context, in the background? Yeah, sure. It is not the basis. So like, it's great to actually establish, what does hope look like? Like, how do you actually get the confidence and like have that
and I think
present?
when you're saying hope, what
Or I hope that doesn't happen.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
and I think what you're bringing up though, and when we say that, is I think inherently, I think we all know there's a sense of deep knowing that there are conditions
Mhm.
in the background that have you
Mhm.
exit relationship. They're like unseen. You're kind of blind to the fact that there are things that are undermining your promises that you haven't shared or acknowledged.
Yeah, I hope they
or you
don't do
bumped up
that.
at. Yeah, or
Mhm.
well, no, it's like you know, people will make these like very grandiose promises, and then they don't follow up with things that will have them exit that promise, and everyone does have them.
And a lot of hope, I think, also lies in the, I hope they don't do that. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope it's like, well, you have to have promises around what the conditions are then. It's not gonna, right? It's not gonna, yeah. So something to consider. So if you know anybody, or if you yourself need a kick in the butt, refresher, or you're like, yeah, it would be great to actually have a revitalization of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. It's actually really ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
People being like, oh, we feel like roommates. We argue all the time. I don't even know if I like him anymore. It's like a very ordinary experience. And sometimes the ordinary experience feels isolating. And so hopping on something like this free webinar or going to a workshop and sitting in the room, you realize your experience and can, choose differently. And so, yeah, so that's going to be on May 25th.
That's
It's
it.
going to be great. I actually have to get going today, but right now we are starting, or it is going on and it's not too late. We'll be accepting new people into the challenge until Friday, pretty much, maybe Sunday, but Friday is like definitely, we have to have your client account set up by Friday. For this challenge that we're doing, which is for our clients who are regularly exercising, starting an exercise program, or new clients who have an exercise routine and want to get going. When we first started health coaching, a lot of our clients were starting with weight loss, which is awesome. And now they're working on optimizing their health and continuing onto their healthy habits. And so everybody kind of starts in a different place. And some people, we have a client starting this week who's starting in that kind of weight loss. Let me just get one thing down before I tackle another thing. Because we found that when we give people meal plans, exercise plans, parameters around their morning and their night, and there's like it doesn't work. It's just too much. And we have so much more success with our clients when we really just hone in on one thing, get some amazing wins, very slowly add on other habits and things to support them in their health. And so right now we have a challenge going on for kind of people who are just a little bit farther in their health journey, or maybe have some consistent habits but need an extra kick in the butt. So that's what's happening right now. So if you need help with that, you can message us or whatever. And it's really great timing because my training for 29029 just started. So it's like, I'm right there with you. Like, we sent out messages this morning and I, had my accountability in there too. Like, yep, got my stuff in today. Let's go. Where are you guys at? And so, yeah, it's private. It's like individual one-on-one, and it's with a really tiny, amazing group of people with really cool goals and a lot of traveling, family get-togethers and things that everybody's going to be like contending with. And so it's a lot of learning and exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So
Rock and roll.
Okay. Got to go meet some friends.
We'll see you then.